Hello, everyone. Welcome to the NFL Week 15 recap episode of Stack in the Box, and we will also be previewing tonight's Monday Night Football doubleheader. Myself, Iain, MacMillan, Sterling Holmes here today. How are you doing this morning, Sterling?
I'm good. 8:30 Central came a little earlier than
Mm,
normal. We're getting the holiday season right, so I'm staying up late, puzzling, watching holiday movies as one
yep.
does. Watching Monday Night Football, or Sunday Night Football, which was just atrocious. Come on, I just stay up and watch that. Um, but yet here we are, and I have a mustache. I don't know why. Someone help me.
Bring it back.
Can you
What?
can you do the goatee?
No,
Shave your chin strap.
no. The beard looks better in person than it does on camera. I'm going to be honest. I've actually gotten a lot of compliments about my beard.
Wow.
I went to a
Your
Broadway
mom?
show a couple nights ago, and the bartender gave me a compliment about my beard. So how about that?
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a big moment.
Whoa.
Sterling, what is your number one Christmas movie?
Die Hard.
Oh, stop.
What?
That's your favorite Christmas movie, Die Hard?
Yeah, it's Die Hard.
Okay.
Number
Uh,
2 is Elf.
Underrated Christmas movie that a lot of people should watch, and you can watch on YouTube. It's 40 minutes. Is Muppet Family Christmas, not Muppet Christmas Carol or any of the other Muppet ones. Muppet Family Christmas from 1987. It's on YouTube. It's 40 minutes. It's heartwarming. The Sesame Street people make an appearance. Big Bird sings a song with the Swedish Chef. It's amazing.
Hunter with the best pull. Ian could be Julian with a goatee. If you watch Trailer Park Boys, Ian could totally be Julian.
Shout out the Pride in Nova Scotia, Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it because we do have a lot to go over here. But before we do, Underdog, it is the best place to cash in on all your takes this football season. Which players are going off, which ones are ice cold. Make your entries in just a few taps and turn your sports opinions into real money. Join over 5 million fans that are already playing on Underdog. With their pick'em game, you could win money by making entries with your favorite players. Underdog is the best place to play champions. So sign up and deposit now using promo code Stacking the Box. That is all one word, Stacking the Box, to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. I don't currently have a lineup for tonight. I'm going to make one during the show. By the end of the show, stay tuned. I will have an Underdog lineup for you all tonight, which means you go ahead and take the opposite of whatever I decide to take, and you have a much better chance of winning. But go ahead and download the app today and use code Stack in the Box to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Higher or lower, you make the call on Underdog. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama or Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona 1-800-NEXT-STEP, 1-800-639-8783, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Sterling, let's start with a playoff picture a little bit here, which is for the most part kind of decided, especially in the AFC. But if there's one team in the AFC that I would have a little bit of concern over if I was a fan of this team, it'd surprisingly be the LA Chargers, who have fallen now to 8-6. I really needed them to beat the Buccaneers yesterday. For my Falcons, they did not, and they look bad too. And the Chargers haven't really looked great now for a few weeks. And now there's 3 teams at 6-8. So the Chargers still 1, maybe 2 wins will be enough. But if they do go 0-3 in their final 3 games, they'll be out because one of these other teams will be able to leapfrog them, either the Colts, Dolphins, or Bengals, all kind of waiting in the shadows, all at 6-8.
Yeah, that defense that was so great for the
Yep.
Chargers is starting to crumble. I still think they're the team that gets in. I mean, you'd have to imagine with this few games left, you wouldn't see a utter collapse like that. I still think Herbert's a good quarterback. Ladd McConkey was back in this game, which was huge for the Chargers offense because Ladd McConkey is their best receiver by far. He got involved early, scored that early touchdown. The Colts just collapsed. Jonathan Taylor dropped the ball before he crossed the goal line. I mean, I don't know how, again, this still happens. It happens a few times every single season, but it should never happen. Everyone should point back to 72, the first time it happened, and say, why? Okay, this will never happen again. Yet a couple of times a year, it does. Jonathan Taylor had it happen in a playoff race, and that completely changed the entire game between them and the Denver Broncos. And my bet of the Colts upsetting them. So, thanks. So, I think the Colts are out. Miami, I get where you're saying, but that was they don't look good. I mean, they lost to the Texans by 8. Didn't get a whole bunch of pressure on C.J. Stroud. And then Cincinnati. Do you believe in Cincy? I sure don't. I think it's still the Chargers, barring just a unbelievable collapse.
Yeah, and especially because their schedule is pretty favorable the rest of the way. If they play the Broncos on Thursday night, will be a tough one. They are at home and they're 3-point favorites, but then they do have the Patriots and Raiders to close things out. Both of those are road games, though, at New England, at Las Vegas, but you would think they win at least one of those games, if not both. But still, I mean, let's say they lose to the Broncos on Thursday night. They get upset by either the Patriots or the Raiders on the road. They go 1-2. That does open the door. I don't know how the tiebreakers would work if, 2 or more of these teams finish at 9-8. It probably depends on which teams be in that tiebreaker. It also depends if it's a 2-way tie or a 3-way tie. But yeah, if they go 1-2, it kind of opens things back up.
It looks like Cincinnati would be almost completely out. They're 3-6 in conference.
Yeah.
While Miami and Indy are both 5-5. So Cincy would need to go 3-0, Chargers to go 0-3, and then the Colts and Miami to also only win 1 game tops. So
and if it was head to head, the Chargers beat the Bengals this season, correct?
That's what I'm saying. I think the Bengals are basically out.
Yeah. The Bengals would probably, I don't know how the Bengals would be able to. I guess if the Chargers lose out and the Bengals win out and it's not even a tiebreaker would come in to play, then they would. Did not play the Colts this season, I don't believe, and they didn't play the Dolphins this season. So you'd have to go to a secondary or tertiary tiebreaker to figure that out. But still Chargers in the driver's seat, but every other spot has been pretty much locked up. Ravens aren't going to collapse. Broncos aren't going to collapse, both at 9-5. Ravens still very much alive in the AFC North. They're now just 1 game back from the Steelers. And the 2 teams play this Saturday, I believe, is Ravens Steelers. So that's going to be a massive one heading into the final stretch of the season. Lions and Bills. Seems like the Bills just play in the most fun games possible, and so do the Lions, actually. And yesterday afternoon's game between these 2 teams, we thought it was a Super Bowl preview. I'll take a rematch of that game for the Super Bowl. That'd be a fun one.
Yeah, you know what? If the Chiefs aren't in it, then yes, 100% Detroit and Buffalo. 2 teams that deserve to go in. 2 teams and fan bases that are starved for success. 2 teams that are very enjoyable to watch. Josh Allen making plays left and right. I mean, hell, one of the best plays was called back. He had a chest pass. I mean, it was a NBA chest pass for a touchdown. It was awesome. Detroit, their defense had been better, and then it's reverted back. Buffalo's defense has some serious questions, right? I mean, you give up 40 spots in back-to-back games, right? Or you scored 40. What did Detroit end up with? 42?
42. So
you give up 43 points on average the past 2 games. Mm-hmm. That's brutal. That is something to at least monitor if you are, watching Buffalo. I know that offense looks great, but you want to get up against the Rams and a Detroit Lions defense that is full of all backups. If you're Buffalo, you have to at least have some sort of questions there, but that was such an enjoyable game to watch. Again, I'm happy for both fan bases there. Although I will say Dan Campbell had some horrendous late-game decision-making. Not calling the timeout so you can actually save the 2-minute warning. Going for it when you had, 3 timeouts? You're down 2 scores with 9.5 minutes left in the game. Like, there are just some decisions that I get Dan Campbell's aggressive, all that stuff. But that was not the best Dan Campbell called game, in my opinion.
No, but I mean, I think that's going to come with the territory if you're going to be that aggressive. So I don't necessarily hate most of especially the going for it on 4th down. The questionable one was kicking an onside kick when you're down 10 and there's still 12 minutes left in the game. Kicking an onside kick, that was idiotic. Onside kicks have such a low % chance of converting, and he still had so much time left, and that was basically the end of the game, going for that onside kick and not getting it. So I don't hate the going forward in crazy situations on fourth down. If you're going to be that guy, be that guy. It's worked out for him plenty of times in the past. The onside kick, though, is we're getting a little crazy, Dan Campbell. Relax.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Again, so much time still left in the game, and if you played that differently, how different does the game look if you don't kick the onside kick there? I will say the final one of the game, though, was very interesting. They almost got it, and that was a really unique onside kick where the kicker kicked it straight. He didn't kick it to either side, and the kicker almost has a one-on-one with a player because the kicker then kicks it, lays out Taron Johnson, and I thought Bates was going to recover. That's a really interesting style of an onside kick where you're basically saying, okay, kicker, you're one-on-one, you kick it at a guy and then lay him out and see if you can recover in the bottom of the pile. Pretty fascinating.
Yeah, I think the injuries on the Lions' defensive side of the football really showed up in this one. But like you said, the same thing. I mean, the Bills, you can't give up 40-plus points every week and just hope that Josh Allen's going to be Josh Allen and carry you to victory. I will say Josh Allen last night did pretty much lock up MVP, minus 900 now on the betting odds to win NFL MVP. Saquon took a big hit. Lamar, his odds went up after his performance in the early afternoon, but then Josh Allen kind of shut the door on that with his performance against the Lions. 23-34, 362 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, I believe, as well. Yeah, 2 rushing touchdowns, 68 yards on the ground. Josh Allen, unless he just completely craps his pants the last 3 weeks, will be your 2024 NFL MVP, first of his career.
Deserving.
Yeah.
In a year
especially because in a year of that, we thought this was going to be a rebuild, regression year. No, he's dragged this team to the record that they have.
Best call I ever had in sports was that I said Josh Allen's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and people called me crazy.
Yeah. And I thought Josh Rosen was going to be the best quarterback of that draft. I think, was that the same draft?
I don't think so.
Oh, was it not?
I think Allen was a year before.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Allen was a year before.
Josh Rosen was in a quarterback-loaded draft, and I said he was going to be the best quarterback in that draft, and he...
well, that was his Sam Darnold draft.
That was... Baker Mayfield went first. No, Josh Allen. Yeah, it was the same. It was Josh Allen draft.
Was it serious? Wow.
It was Baker Mayfield went 1, Sam Darnold went 3, Josh Allen went 7, Josh Rosen went 10. And I said Josh Rosen was going to be the best. Even Sam Darnold's been significantly better. Especially
that was a real bad one. It's okay, though. We all have those. I have Trey Lance.
Yeah, fair enough. NFC West, the loaded and tight NFC West got a little bit more clear yesterday. The Rams now taking over the top spot. They're both at 8-6 with the Seahawks, but they hold the tiebreaker. Yeah, 10P kid. Shout out Josh Rosen, who's not in the NFL anymore. There was a graphic during a primetime game earlier this season, if you remember that. It showed like all the quarterbacks from that draft, what they're doing now, and it was like Josh Rosen like selling insurance or something. Damn, that must have sucked to see. Rams 8-6, along with the Seahawks at 8-6, but the Rams have the tiebreaker at the moment. And now, in terms of betting odds, the Rams have taken over as the betting favorites to win the division after a pretty slow start of the season. Minus 145, Seahawks plus 180, Cardinals 7-1. 49ers are done.
Yeah, Niners are done, but the Cardinals are still hanging around, right? They're counting crows. They're hanging around. Seattle with that loss last night, obviously getting demolished by Green Bay, does not help their chances. But the Rams are playing maybe the best football of anyone. I mean, at least offensively. They're humming. Puka Nacua is just insane. I mean, when Cooper Kupp looks like he might be on the downturn of his career, of course, Puka Nacua just steps up and just fills that void. Matt Stafford looking really good. The Rams, again, as you mentioned, they've won 3 straight games. They're hot in the NFC West. This is going to be a battle coming down the stretch because, again, I don't think the Cardinals are out of it yet. Kyler Murray did not play good football. Kyler Murray has been a little bit, and you mentioned it, the second half of the seasons for Kyler has been somewhat of a struggle, but Trey McBride is still there, and there's a lot of regression to the mean in a positive sense for Trey McBride. Trey McBride has nearly 1,000 yards receiving this year. Iain, how many touchdowns does Trey McBride have?
0.
I know. He's on my fantasy
which is crazy.
Football team. Yeah. So my point here is there's some regression to the mean in a positive sense. They are fairly effective, it feels like, running the football. Not all the time, but James Conner is a pretty good, well-rounded back. Obviously, Trey Benson as well. Their defense is playing a little better. I don't want to count on Arizona just yet.
Yeah, let's take a look at their final stretch of games here. The Cardinals do have the Panthers this coming week. Should be a win for them. I mean, it does kind of all come down to these final few weeks because the Rams play both the Seahawks and the Cardinals. In week 17 and 18, it's Rams at home to the Cardinals. Week 18, it's Rams at home to the Seahawks. So all these three teams play against each other. So which one? I mean, the Cardinals have a very easy matchup in the Panthers this week. The Rams have a relatively easy matchup against the Jets. The Seahawks have a tough one against the Vikings this week. So then we'll see what happens after that. But I think
electric though. This is awesome.
I think the division's going to come down to week 18. I think that's the game that gets flexed to Sunday night in week 18. It's Rams at home to the Seahawks. Winner takes the division. All right, Dolphins. All the teams that I've had faith in this season continue to disappoint me week after week. It's the Titans, it's the 49ers, it's the Dolphins. Dolphins really had a chance. I mean, they win that game. They're at 7-7 and really in the mix, especially with the Chargers dropping to 8-6. But the Dolphins cannot move the ball against the Texans. The worst start I've seen from Tua in a long time, probably since the playoff game against the Chiefs last year. Given opportunity after opportunity to get back in the game and just could not capitalize. Now their season still kind of alive technically, but that was pretty much it.
Yeah, and he just checked it down. I mean, how many catches did Devon Achane have? He had like 7 catches in the first half.
Yeah. I
think he only ended with 7. Maybe I think he had 6 in the first half and it was 7. But Raheem Mostert also had 3. Like, you have 10 checkdowns.
I might be out on Mike McDaniel.
I just don't. And that was always the pushback on Tua. Everyone goes, well, look at his completion percentage. Yeah, he does have a lot of deep throws to Waddle and Tyreek Hill. But how many checkdowns does he have in a given game? A lot. Now, he does have a nice connection with Jonnu Smith. They kept him alive in that one, a nice touchdown there. He's been a really nice piece. For all the laughter and joking we had about Jonnu Smith in Atlanta with, who was the OC?
Arthur Smith, the head coach. And I was an idiot. He was correct the whole time.
Apparently, Jonnu Smith.
He was the better tight end than Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, apparently Jonnu Smith was better than Kyle Pitts. Jonnu Smith looks really, really good. I'll give Miami that. Yeah, Waddle went out in the game. And the offense stopped. This is why it's so hard when you give these second contracts to quarterbacks, because Tua's not an elevator. He's good when he has a full array of weapons around him, right? When Waddle and Hill and when everyone's out there, then Tua looks like a pretty good quarterback. Waddle goes down, and then the offense looks anemic. Like, that's the risk you take when you give a second contract to a quarterback who's not an elevator, in my opinion, like Tua.
I think I should have seen this coming from this game because stylistically is a bad matchup because the Dolphins, I don't know if using the word check down is necessarily fair because it's more so Mike McDaniel's offense is instead of running the ball. Now, I don't know if this is an issue with his offensive line. He doesn't believe in the push his offensive line can get, but instead of running the football, he does these short passes as an extension of the run game. So they're designed kind of swing patterns, off to the flats to the running backs. I don't know if he's doing that just because he wants to utilize his running back speed. I don't know if he's doing it because he doesn't trust his offensive line to get a push on the interior, but it doesn't work. It has not worked. You need a power, straightforward, north-south run game that the Dolphins don't have. My old football coach always used to say, the quickest point from point A to point B is a straight line, and the Dolphins do not do a straight line.
But what's so wild about this, the Dolphins were so effective running over the past couple seasons.
Right.
Devon Achane running the football last year had the highest yards per, was it last? Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
He averaged like 9 yards a carry. It was something absurd. I mean,
right.
That's only slightly hyperbolic. Like, it was like 7 or 8. It was nuts. Then you had Jeff Wilson Jr., Raheem Mostert, who had 20 touchdowns. Like, what happened? What happened in 1 year?
I don't know. I'd have to talk to Mike McDaniel and figure that out because I don't know. His scheme has completely changed. And then in terms of the passing game, it's a lot of quick hitters, a lot of quick release things, and that I should have seen it coming. That's not going to work against a Texans team who plays tight coverage, man coverage, line up right in front of you kind of defense, and that kind of defense is going to stop quick hitting plays. I'm surprised Mike McDaniel did not switch anything in his offense. He tried to just run the same offense, and that's not the type of defense to use that type of offense against. You can use that type of defense against the zone coverage, teams that are going to play a little bit off, and that's not the Texans. So they just tried the same game plan and it didn't work, and now I'm kind of out on Mike McDaniel. So bad game by the Dolphins. They were given plenty of opportunities. Their defense kept them in it. Texans offense still doesn't look good. No. I still have a lot of concerns about the Texans moving forward, but they got the job done. And I think they clinched the AFC South now, right?
They should have. Let me pull that up really quickly.
I think they needed the Colts to lose, and because the Colts lost.
Yeah, they're 9-5. Yeah, they've clinched.
All right. Talk to me about the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes got the job done. 14-point win against the Browns. They finally won by double digits. Wasn't an impressive win against the 3-win Browns. I think you should be able to win by more than 14 points when you have a +6 turnover differential. But a win's a win.
That was maybe the best defense I have seen from this Chiefs team all season long. That's a really good sign. And I can get into the turnovers, but I don't think a lot of people care that much about all of that because it wasn't just Jameis making dumb decisions. Jameis made 2 dumb decisions, but one was a special teams play that was just outstanding, a Peanut Tillman punch, really good play on special teams. One was getting Nick Chubb to fumble, which I feel like that has to be fairly difficult to do. One was a great play by Nick Bolton. Jameis threw it to Chubb, and Chubb had a little issue catching it, but Bolton got his hand in there. Bolton never gave up on the play and was able to wrestle away from him on the it would just. There was some phenomenal defense being played by Kansas City in this game. Love to see that. The offense was atrocious. The play calling was abysmal. I've gone back and forth with some Chiefs fans on this. The offensive line still didn't look good. Like, the tackles specifically. I know everyone was excited because Joe Thuney played left tackle, and there were no sacks in this game. Patrick was getting absolutely rocked. He gets no sacks because he's such a smart quarterback as far as getting the ball out right before the last possible second. You look at his sack numbers throughout his career, they're always extremely low. He hardly ever gets sacked. Very smart player. But it also comes with the territory of he gets drilled, and he left this game with an injury. He left this game with looks like a high ankle sprain. Carson Wentz finished the game. Carson looked good. Of course, Andy Reid draws up his good plays for Carson. Cannot drop a single good play for Patrick. Thanks, Andy. Yet, you're left with a 14-point victory, and they did what we've been asking to do, which is cover a damn game. I don't know how to feel about this. It's such an interesting dichotomy of they finally won by 2 scores, but yet the offense looked the worst it's looked all season long.
Not a very Patrick Mahomes stat line, 19 for 38, so 50% of passes completed, 4.2 yards per throw, 159 total yards. They won the game. They covered the spread. Yards per play, 4.4 for the Browns. Chiefs, 4.1.
Well, in fairness, when you throw and have 6 turnovers, you're going to all of a sudden be forced to throw the ball, so you should have higher yards per play. You should. But Patrick looked atrocious in this game.
And the running game didn't do anything either. Kareem Hunt, 3.5 yards per carry. Pacheco, 2.5. I was told when Pacheco came back, the offense was going to be different. 13 carries, 32 yards.
You never heard that from me. And you can agree on that one, can't you? You never heard me say that. The Chiefs were effective running behind the right guard, Trey Smith. Any carry that went for any sort of yardage was there. Yet they decided, hey, why don't we run to the left side where we have Joe Thuney, who's a guard playing left tackle with 32-inch arms going up against Myles Garrett, and how about we run behind our backup guard, Mike Caliendo? The thought process was just astounding. I'm screaming from my TV, just run to the right. How can I realize you're effective running this way, and yet you keep running for no yardage to the left? It makes 0 sense.
Patrick Mahomes' injury. What are you hearing? How serious? Does he play on Saturday?
I wouldn't. I would set him out at least a week. I mean, they're pretty set on the 1 seed. I know the Bills' win was huge for keeping them in it, but if it were me, a healthy Patrick means way more than the 1 seed. The Chiefs showed last year they can go on the road if they have to and still win a Super Bowl. But you got to be healthy. Especially with the way the offensive line's rolling right now. If his ankles can't hold up and you're having to move around that much in the pocket, that's not going to be conducive for a winning formula. If it were me, I'd sit Patrick this week. I know he's going to want to go out there and play because he always tries to force his way back out there, which is very admirable of him. But I'm sitting Patrick right now, especially with the concerns at tackle.
The betting market assumes Patrick will not be playing because the look-ahead line had the Chiefs 4-point home favorites to the Texans on Saturday. The line now sits at Texans minus 2.5 on the road. Chiefs have only been home underdogs once in a Patrick Mahomes start in his career, as to the Bills in 2022. So the fact they're set as home underdogs tells me the betting market believes it'll be Carson Wentz suiting up on Saturday. Do you have any faith in Carson Wentz?
Yes, I do. Because Andy Reid is so good with backup quarterbacks. It's why I was so frustrated. Carson Wentz came in and the play calls were great. And I'm sitting here going, where was this the first 3.5 quarters? Why? Why do you have to wait for a backup quarterback that, again, Andy does such a great job of elevating those type of players. You saw it in Philly with Kevin Cobb. You saw it in Kansas City, not only with Alex Smith, who the best years of Alex Smith's career came with Andy, but you also saw it with Matt Moore. You saw it with Chad Henne. Like, this is what he does. He elevates backup quarterbacks. So, yeah, I do have faith with Carson. I just wish we'd see some of these phenomenal play calls when Patrick is in the game. That's my one complaint.
Really quick, let's do a little check-in on some Super Bowl winners. We're going to do a Super Bowl draft, just back and forth. We can just rapid fire this. Draft 5 teams each and see which one can correctly get the Super Bowl winner.
Cool.
Do you want to go first or second? We'll go snake.
You go first.
Okay, I will take the Detroit Lions. Still have faith. Last night did not scare me away from the Lions. Bad defensive game. You're going to have some bad games. Lions have had very few bad games this season. Defensively, last night was one of them. I still think they're the most complete team in the NFL. Their offense is too dynamic. They can run, they can throw. Jared Goff has been extremely efficient this season. Still in the driver's seat for the number 1 seed in the NFC. I will take my first team, Detroit Lions.
I almost don't want to take Kansas City. Because you're just
I did this whole thing to see if you're going to take Kansas City with your first pick. So please take them.
Well, you're not going to pick them. So like that's my whole point is do I just like wait until like the very end of the draft and get them with the 10th overall pick? Like that'd be great. I'll take Kansas City to play the game the correct way. If I'm going to play the correct way, right?
Correct way.
Yeah, I'll play the correct way, which is what would I do? It's the Chiefs. Like if you told me
Come on, man. The second most if you had the first overall pick, would you go Chiefs?
Probably.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, taking the back-to-back Super Bowl champions who are 13-1. How crazy. Absurd.
It is absurd. What was it Matt Verderame tweeted last night? I responded. We got in a little back and forth. I had to respond with a little eye roll emoji. It's just typical Chiefs fans. There's just nothing that the Chiefs could do to convince you that like they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year.
Well, no, it's not. Like if you told me the Chiefs are the field, I'm taking the field. But if you told me pick one team, yeah, I'll probably go with the team that's won back-to-back Super Bowls in 3 of the last 5.
This was Matt Verderame's tweet. Two thoughts can be true at once. The Bills are the AFC's best team right now. MVP, a quarterback, tons of weapons. I agree. Best AFC team by far right now, in my opinion.
Sure.
If they play the Chiefs in KC, I'd pick KC. They always find a way in those spots. D is coming around in big moments, Mahomes.
Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with that.
I get previous seasons. I get previous seasons though, but the Chiefs haven't had a good game. We're 15 weeks into the season. They still haven't had a good game. But you all just think they're going to magically turn into a great team in the playoffs. It's crazy to me
because it happened last year.
Yeah, and that's
Christmas.
That's what Matt said too. But last year, metrically, the analytics, you guys were way better. 4th in the NFL in net yards per play at the end of the regular season.
Nerd.
They're 20th right now.
Nerd. You keep saying the Chiefs can't play a good game, yet they're 13-1. The Falcons would kick a child to go 13-1. The Falcons would eat a bag of beetles to go 10-5. It's just to go 10-7. It's just absurd to me.
Yeah, but if the Falcons were 13-1 and winning games like the Chiefs were winning, I'd say, yeah, I'm not going to apologize to be 13-1, but they're probably not going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you wouldn't take it. If the Falcons were 13-1 winning this way, you'd be like, oh, no, punt the season, kick it. It's over.
No, I would say it's great that we're 13-1. I love that we have home field advantage, but I don't like our chances in the playoffs. I'd be realistic.
You thought crazy. Desmond Ridder was going to take the Falcons to win a playoff game last year.
Yeah, it was
Talk about
call.
Realistic.
It was a bad call. I didn't say he was going to win a Super Bowl for us. I might have said that. All right, well, we'll keep doing this draft. It was mostly I just wanted to see if we're going to take the Chiefs. I'll go.
No, I'm still going to go. It's a snake draft.
Oh, it's snake draft. You're right.
So I have Chiefs, and I'm between two teams here. There's two obvious teams: Eagles and the Bills.
Bills, yeah.
And do I want to go NFC or AFC? I'll go Bills. I'll go. Although I do believe in the Eagles a lot, but I'll go Chiefs Bills.
Okay, so we're basically right now AFC versus NFC because I will take the Eagles. I think the Lions and the Eagles are the two best teams in the NFL. I think it's Lions, Eagles. I think it's Bills. Then I think it's what my next team is going to be, which is going to be the Ravens.
I think the Eagles might be the most flying under the radar 12-2. Like I don't understand this. Everyone talks about the Lions. Everyone talks about the Bills, Kansas City, but the Eagles have been just as impressive over the past, I don't know, few weeks as the Lions have.
Yeah,
maybe I'm wrong, but everyone's when you hear the Eagles, it's like, well, Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, is there some disconnect? And they just keep stacking up wins with their defense looking more and more impressive. I don't know. I've been very impressed with Philly.
I mean, just beat a division-leading Steelers team handedly. Beat the Ravens a few weeks ago. Beat the Rams by 17 points the week before that. Handled the Commanders when they played them the first time. Beat the Bengals by 20 points. Like they're stacking up some impressive wins. Of course, there's that one glaring loss on the record though to the Atlanta Falcons, which is a tough one.
Hey, so I'll switch you. I'll give you the Bills for the Eagles.
No.
Okay.
I think the Eagles are the second best team in the NFL.
I should have probably gone. I don't want to go AFC, NFC. But we did.
Well, I went Ravens for my next team, so that's my AFC team. I think the Ravens' defense was a huge issue to start the season. I think their defense has been playing a lot better recently. I bet the Ravens to win the Super Bowl last week at 10-1.
Yeah, not bad. The Ravens, of any of these next tier down, I think they're the clear best. Or at least most upside, I should say. Yeah.
Now I think you have to take one of the two NFC North teams left. I mean, you don't have to. You can do anything. But
I'll take Green Bay. I don't like it.
Over the Vikings?
I don't like it.
Well, yeah, you have two picks, actually, so you can just take both.
I don't want both.
Okay.
I want Green Bay, and I'll go with Houston. I'll go with Houston.
Okay.
I still believe that the Dolphins can eventually get it turned around. I don't know.
They have the weapons.
They have the weapons, and so I'm sitting here like, who has upside?
Yeah.
Like, am I going with the Vikings and Sam Darnold, or am I going with the Houston Texans with C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins and Tank Dell?
Texans defense also underrated too.
Yeah, I'll go Houston.
Okay, I'll take the other NFC North team. I'll take the Vikings, although I do not believe in Sam Darnold once they get to the playoffs. But very good defense, obviously a ton of weapons, arguably the best receiving core in the NFL. I'll take the Vikings, and then coming back around, I will take the. I mean, this is blasphemy, but wait, how many teams do I have left? I have Lions, Eagles, Ravens, Vikings. So this is my last team. I think I'm going to take the Buccaneers.
Oh, it's a good call.
Their offense is so good.
Yeah.
Top 5 offense in almost every metric. Baker Mayfield is a boomer bust kind of player. He has some stinker performances, but when Baker Mayfield brings his A game, he's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL. Their defense has a lot of issues, though.
I like it.
They can win in a shootout.
I like it a lot.
Probably going to host a playoff game.
Yeah. I like that one for a wild card, like your final one of these teams. I'd pick them. So kudos. I'll go Pittsburgh, and then my final one. I don't believe in Denver. I don't necessarily want to go Rams because I still think Arizona or Seattle has a chance. So I might be picking it.
Steelers were your final one.
Who do I have? I have Chiefs.
Chiefs, Bills, Texans, Packers, Steelers.
Oh, yeah. Then, yeah, that was easy. Wait a minute. That made it way easier on me. Thank you.
Who would you rather go between Rams, Broncos, Commanders, Chargers, though, just for fun?
Rams, Broncos, Commanders, Chargers. Probably the Chargers.
Because in terms of the odds, those are kind of like the last 4 realistic teams.
I think the Chargers. I think Harbaugh's a great head coach. I think their style can play well come playoff time. I believe in Justin Herbert. Their defense had been great all season long. I don't know if this is a slump or if this is just legitimate regression. But if you had to tell me which of those 4 teams, they're the most complete, I think, of those 4 teams.
And I would go Rams. Experience.
Sure.
There's something to be said about Super Bowl experience. All right, let's talk Monday Night Football tonight. Sorry.
Question?
Yep.
So you say there's a lot to Super Bowl experience, right?
Yeah, it's the biggest thing the Chiefs have going for them. I'm not
okay. I just want to make sure that.
But I mean, it can only make up so much.
No, I just wanted to make sure to see how I've never seen a man actually talk out of both sides of their mouth before, but
I've never said the Chiefs, because it was why I did not want to call them frauds until I had no choice, and the reason why I didn't call them frauds early in the season was because of Super Bowl experience. But a Super Bowl experience can only take you so far.
They have the best record in the NFL.
I understand.
We are 15 weeks in.
That. In 2021, the Titans had the best record in the AFC. And they were 1 and done to the Bengals in the first round. I'm sticking with my prediction. I'm going to toss on another prediction. I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs go 0-3 in their last 3 games. They got Texans, Steelers, Broncos. Ooh. Trevor, Chiefs are kind of bad right now. Correct. I think kind of bad is very fair. All right, let's talk Monday Night Football, starting with the Bears and the Vikings tonight. Vikings, especially with the loss to the Lions loss yesterday. Huge game for the Vikings.
By the way, the Titans finished 12-5 that year.
That's number 1 seed.
My point, that's a much different...
number 1 seed.
It's a much different...
right.
12-5.
Hey, don't research these things. Don't look into them. They're the number 1 seed. That's all I'm saying.
I thought they were 13-4. They were 12-5.
I did actually look into it recently, and I thought the same thing. I thought they were like 13-3, and then I looked into it, and they're at 12-5.
I was like, that's still a 16-game season. I'm like, maybe they're 12-4.
Just, I guess nobody wanted the 1 seed that year. It's crazy a 12-5 team got the 1 seed.
All right, go ahead. What was the next question? I apologize.
No, it's all good. Actually, you should apologize. Don't research. Just believe what I'm saying. Monday Night Football, Bears and Vikings start off. Huge game for the Vikings tonight because if they win, they draw even with the Lions at 12-2. Lions would currently still have the tiebreaker because the Lions beat them earlier this season, but the 2 teams, I believe, play in Week 18, which is another potential for the, that Sunday night slot in Week 18. So big game for the Vikings. The Bears are a disaster, so that should be a lopsided affair. I mean, both these games have the potential to be a lopsided affair. Any thoughts on Bears-Vikings?
I don't think it's lopsided. I'll go Vikings, but the Bears still have something to play for in the sense of dude's jobs.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Like the interim head coach, like, can he get the guys going to maybe get a Antonio Pierce situation, right, where you keep your job or you get the head coaching job after that. So I'll go Vikings, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Bears currently ranked last in the NFL in net yards per play, minus 1.4. That is 0.4 worse than the next worst team. Actually, even more than that, because Cleveland actually went up in that standings because they actually outgained the Chiefs this past week. So I don't have updated numbers. Last 3 games, they have a net yards per play of -2, which is, yikes. Bears got whooped last week. Yeah, I think the Vikings win.
Yeah, but see, I don't always. It's almost like fantasy football too. I do this all the time, which everyone has their own strategy. when a guy goes off like back-to-back weeks, I'm probably not starting them that third week, right? When the Bears get blown out last week, I'm not expecting back-to-back blowouts, right? Like, that atrociousness was out of the way last week. Like I'm not saying they win, but just the variance of the NFL, the odds of a team getting absolutely clapped back-to-back weeks typically is fairly rare when I think a team is not good by any means, but not the Panthers early in the year.
Yeah, there's a thing that people say, you're never as good as your last win, you're never as bad as your last loss. Which I guess kind of makes sense in some scenarios. Or they could just get whooped tonight anyways, and it doesn't matter. Okay, let's talk Falcons Raiders. So last night I spent some time, I probably did 10 minutes of going through the NFL playoff predictor, because with the Chargers beating the Buccaneers, the Falcons they're in trouble for making the playoffs. So they absolutely have to win out. No doubt about that. If they win out and the Buccaneers lose to either the Panthers, Saints, or Cowboys, which is probably not going to happen, but if they lose one of those games, Falcons can still win the NFC South. They can still get a wild card spot. They got to win out. They need the Commanders to lose next week to the Eagles, and they need the Seahawks to go 1-2 in their final 3. If that happens, they get the number 7 seed. Am I crazy for thinking the Falcons are still alive, or should I just...
Well,
is it over?
I already won that season-long bet, I think. Didn't we have Falcons winning a playoff game?
Yeah, so but if they make the playoffs, they can win a game.
What do we bet on that one, by the way? I moved houses, so I don't have my list of season-long bets on me.
Falcons Bengals Super Bowl still alive. Yeah, technically. Let's go.
That'd be wild.
That'd be great. Falcons need to win out no matter what. They lose one more game, their season's over. They got the Raiders tonight. They're big time favorites, but it is, I mean, how fitting would it be? There'd be nothing more Falcons for the final nail in their season, in the coffin of their season, to be delivered by Desmond Ridder. Like the things that had to happen for this game to come down to Desmond Ridder starting against them, it makes me very nervous. Desmond Ridder, don't forget, we traded him to the Cardinals for Rondale Moore. The Cardinals then cut him. He then got signed to the practice squad for the Raiders. The Raiders then had both Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell suffer injuries. And now Desmond Ridder is going to make his first start. His first start happens to come on primetime, happens to come against his former team, the Falcons, and happens to be in a situation where he can eliminate them from the playoffs by beating them. Largely, not mathematically, but their chances are pretty much done. I'm nervous.
Give me the Raiders.
Yeah, probably, right? I mean, they just like the Chiefs always win on last-second plays, the Falcons do things like this. Like some things are just built into franchises.
At least give me the points. I would take the Raiders with the points.
I'm so nervous. I am laying the points with the Falcons because the objective part of me thinks, listen, the Falcons just got through a gauntlet of tough teams. The Raiders already had the worst offense in the NFL in terms of EPA. Now they have Desmond Ridder as their starting quarterback. The Falcons should just absolutely steamroll this team. Max Crosby's not playing their best defensive player. They should be able to absolutely steamroll this game.
But your heart, what's your heart say?
Yeah, 10P kids. This is literally the type of game the Falcons lose and you sink in a hole of misery. Here's another example of my luck, Sterling. This past week, I went to a Leafs game. They played the Devils in New Jersey. Their goaltender, Anthony Stollarts, looked amazing. Won them the game. He was leading the league in save percentage. I found him at 40-1 to win the Vezina Trophy. I said, I'm placing a big bet because this is crazy. You're talking about a guy who's dragging a team to wins, leads the league in save percentage to win Vezina Trophy as the league's best goalie. Put a bet on it. That night, he gets hurt. He's on the IR now. That night. This is my luck. So, yeah, take Raiders money line. It's my life. I don't know. I'm cursed. All right, let's wrap it up with our touchdown score for tonight. I will take Kyle Pitts, why am I doing this? But the Raiders do allow the second most receptions in the NFL to tight ends. So everyone's going to be talking about Brock Bowers tonight. I actually think the tight end to watch might be Kyle Pitts because the Raiders cannot defend Kyle Pitts. It's a buy low spot on Kyle Pitts. He hasn't played well at all. I think he hasn't had more than a single catch in 3 straight weeks. Bounce back game for Kyle Pitts, plus 260 to score a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm going Desmond Ridder.
To score a touchdown?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
You think Antonio Pierce, of all coaches, the rah-rah guy himself, isn't going to, it's and goal. They're on the 2-yard line. You think a QB sneak isn't coming or an option Yeah, give me Desmond Ridder to score a touchdown.
That would be very funny. I mean, not funny for me, but if late in the game, Raiders like up 3, Falcons need to stop. Desmond Ridder delivers a final blow running it in himself. I'm trying to even find Desmond Ridder touchdown odds.
Yeah, what are the odds of this bad boy?
Plus 425. I actually thought it'd be a lot longer odds than that.
I was going to say plus 450. So
yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That's the show. For my sanity, I need a foul. Just give me a blowout win. Just don't go down like this tonight, please. Keep me alive one more week. We got the Giants next week. That'll be a win. And then the whole season will come down to Falcons against Commanders in week 17, which I'm fine with. All right. Any final thoughts, Sterling?
I feel for you, man. I really do.
You should.
I really do. Did we double or nothing, basically? Is that what it is? With the Falcons had to win a playoff game and the Chiefs, I have them winning at least a playoff game. You have them losing their first playoff game.
Yes.
Is that basically what it is?
Yes. So if the Falcons don't win a playoff game and the Chiefs do, then I need to pay up big. I forget what it was we bet, but I will pay.
I don't remember either, but we had that bet.
Yes, I will pay up big if that happens. If neither team wins a playoff game, we're even.
We're even.
All right. Sounds good.
Double or nothing, baby.
Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Subscribe to Stack in the Box on YouTube. Sign up for an account at Underdog Stack in the Box, all one word. When you sign up, you get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Hunter, settle up in NOLA. Yeah, we'll be meeting in New Orleans, Sterling.
Yeah, it'd be what, like, you pay for my drinks the entire week.
All right, perfect.
Take out a mortgage.
Yes, look forward to that. Stack in the Box will be in person in New Orleans in a couple months. So should be fun. All right, thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern to recap the Monday Night Football games. I'll cry about my Falcons after they lose tonight, and we will preview Week 16 action. 3 weeks left of the NFL regular season. All right, bye.